Okay, so we'll start by asking, what is the need that companies have now at the moment for data automation?
Well, we see a lot of companies come to us struggling to get a data warehouse up and running that gives a single source of the truth, and it can take months and years for them to get to that stage. People presume that digital companies these days have it all sorted and they can back up their strategies with data straight away, but the reality we see is that it takes too long. So they need a way to get value from their data warehouse in a quick, cheap and sort of risk-free way. So that's where data warehouse automation comes in.
And in terms of WhereScape specifically, how do you help people with that specific requirement?
So if you can imagine a team of developers sit there with green screens, hand coding the build and design of a new data warehouse. With WhereScape they can drag and drop from the source into the target, and WhereScape writes the transformations, the mappings and the ELT code that's needed to actually commit that to the underlying platform. So one developer can do the job of 5, because rather than having to write hundreds of lines of code, they can just write sort of thousands of lines of code automatically in seconds. So one developer can do the job of 5. So you can imagine how much that gives to the agility of the team.
Okay, and obviously a lot of people are talking about IoT at the moment, and that's going to generate huge new amounts of data. Have you got any thoughts about the likely impact and where, I mean, theoretically everything can have a sensor in, but do you think that's going to happen, or is it going to be more finding where the sweet spots are?
Yeah, well, it suits some industries better than others. There are industries which really need that sort of thing. They're dealing with loads of pieces of data that are spread around. Like, for instance, we have Hall Hunter Partnership, who are a fruit grower in the UK as a customer. They've got huge amounts of fields and acres to cover of different fruits, and they need to know what the soil's doing, how the weather's changing all different types of crops. So they, rather than go through it with teams of people, they now have sensors that can tell them that straight away in real time. Also, we have a car manufacturer who has sensors in all of their trucks, so they get real-time data on how the trucks are performing, so they can make tweaks to the designs and get more efficient products out there. But I find in some industries people try and shoehorn IoT into it when it's more of a fit, when it's a natural thing. Big data is not always required, but if it is, then automation is the best way to do it.
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of those sort of IoT and other big data requirements, what are you doing, WhereScape, in terms of your roadmap, developing new products to address some of these needs?
Well, the next thing on the roadmap is DataOps, which allows DevOps teams to bring data automation into the life cycle. As you know, DevOps is all about automating where possible to get the process as repeatable and as lean as we can, and to make the most of the resources that people have. So all DevOps processes involve a huge amount of data, so if we can automate that part of the DevOps chain, that really helps the teams to work faster and quicker, which is what DevOps is all about.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for your time.